So this week's Friday story is going to be a day late, I believe, maybe a little bit longer. It was we're planting and field work and everything else, and I thought I had a story lined up for today because it started raining yesterday, and I thought Friday will be a perfect day to do this. I talked to the guy earlier in the week for an hour and thought we had it all lined up, and then just nothing today. Wouldn't get back to me at all. And I didn't have a backup one set up. I'm going to try and get a couple recorded this week, but I did get a hold of there's a couple of local guys that I want to do that I kind of saved for when we're a little tight on time. I'm planning on doing a lot more traveling here to record some of these, but for right now, the one I was going to do, he couldn't do it yet this afternoon. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get that done. In the meantime, this is my new article in Heritage Iron Magazine. I write for Heritage Iron Magazine. And this is a really cool story that I'm proud of, talking about the 50 series John Deere tractors and why I love the 44s so much. I've had 44 55s, 44 50s, and 44 40s, and I just like these tractors. I just do. And sometimes I think we probably shouldn't have built tractors any bigger than these. But really, I'm proud of this article. I enjoy writing. So please go and pick this up. And I think you'll enjoy this. I'm sorry when these get delayed, but I do farm and we do tiling, and eventually someday I'd love to be able to quit tiling and just do this and farm. But sometimes we just have to do, stuff gets in the way. So I am planning on traveling a bunch more coming up. We've got some good ones we're gonna do. I'm hoping to get some sponsorship, so at least it'll cover the travel to do all this. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys my 44 because I got it all washed up. I planted oats, and it was on the grain drill, and it got as dirty as it ever gets on the grain drill, and it was just bothering me that it was still dirty. I kept it in the shed, but it needed to be washed, and I finally got it washed today and all cleaned up, and it looks good. So, and I'll show you guys the oats. I'll show you my setup that I'm working on spring field work with this year. But I will get this story up this weekend yet. But if you haven't read Heritage Iron Magazine, I've been writing for them for a while now. I think this is my fourth article that's out. Fourth or fifth, one or the other. But I enjoy this. So anyways, check that out. And thanks for watching. I will get the story up here hopefully tomorrow. So I got Clifford all washed up. I felt terrible that it sat around with mud on it at all. Cliff, the guy that owned it for years, obviously that's who Clifford is named after, would wipe this tractor down every night, was what I was told. So it's never sat out here. I've always kept it in the shed, but it had gotten dirty, and I had a bad hydraulic hose on the grain drill, so it had made a mess back here. It looks good. I feel it was bothering me really bad. So we got Clifford all cleaned up. He's looking good again. And like I said, in the article with Heritage Iron, I talked about really liking 4440s. And I always have liked 4440s. And the summer of 2003, there was a 4440 at Durand Implement, Durand, Wisconsin. And I bet I sat in the cab of that tractor on a Sunday night. I don't know, probably 10 times maybe. Maybe it was 8 times, something like that. That summer, just dreaming of having a 4440, a nice cab tractor, because I didn't have a nice cab tractor. And you'll have to read the article, but Sunday nights, I had a kid that would milk for me. So I'd always take Sunday night off. But yeah, they had a really nice 4440, and man, I'd go down there and sit in the cab of that. So pick up that issue of Heritage Iron, though. I'm proud of the articles I write for them. But yeah, you guys want to see my rest of my setup, and I'm sure we're going to have a plant and delay video in here also at some point. The 8200 runs my field cultivator. Me and this tractor are just, we work together. I've had this tractor for a long time now, and it means quite a bit to me. And it was one of them tractors that I've kept accidentally. I was always going to trade it off and upgrade, and then I never did. When I upgraded, I got rid of something else, and I've kept the 8200. Now, probably been one of the most important tractors I've ever owned. So, still like this tractor. They really did something with this tractor, which in a way, sometimes I think maybe Deere never should have designed this tractor. Maybe we made tractors that are too productive, too nice, too big. We'd have been better off if we never got any bigger than a 4440. And my 8225R is my planting tractor, and this is kind of like the newest I wanted to go with a tractor. I really wanted one of these. I was really, looking for one of these for years, and then like 4 years ago, I bought this tractor, and I do love this tractor. Yeah, but these are, if you don't know what these are Tier 3 tractors, the very first 8Rs. They didn't build them very long. It's a little bit over a year, but technically they're like 2010 models. I guess I look at it like this. These tractors were introduced in like August of 2009. The next series of 8R, the first DPF ones, the Tier 4, the interim ones, those were introduced in August of 2010. So that's why I say they built them for a year. Technically, they built them a little bit longer than that, but it was a year between the introduction. And that's going to drive some of you people nuts, that cable up there, but that is an extension cable that I ran on something else years ago, but to make that ITC read. And this is only an ITC. I don't auto steer. It's equipped for it, but I don't auto steer, but I do map when I'm planting. So I can keep track of what gets planted where, and then I can know how things do when I combine. But this tractor was really clean. And then it got muddy trying to plant just that little bit. A smart person would have said, yeah, this is not a good idea, but I had to at least try it. And the planter worked good. And I'm very fond of my planter. It's I think it's the first year, like in 05, or maybe 04 was the first year of the XP row units. But it's a XP 12 row 1770 NT finger pickup. So pretty rare planter. I love this planter. I kind of plan on retiring with this planter, and I'm 47. Same with this tractor. This is just, I like this setup. So here are the March planted oats on soybean stubble. This actually here was tilled because this was berm. That was this waterway. We had a berm here. So after they pushed the berms out, I did have to work this. But so this was tilled, but the rest of that out there, that's just soybean stubble that I no-tilled with a Van Brunt, old John Deere Van Brunt drill. Not a no-till drill, just drove out there, and as you can see, it's a nice stand. It doesn't come as good where you had a lot of trash, but it still comes, and I'd be willing to bet, under here, yeah, see, there's more. It's just behind because it's not getting the heat. But yeah, this is on soybean stubble. I have some that was on corn that was chisel plowed. And we have some more oats that were also planted at the same time on soybean stubble that are a little bit further behind. This field there's no trees, and it slopes to the south. It's all southern exposure. So this is really an early field. The other one on this farm that got planted oats the day after, they're behind these. But then there were oats that were planted, gosh, a little over a week and a half ago. But pretty happy with these. I'll show you guys the ones in corn stubble that I chisel plowed. I chisel plowed them because I want to do some tile in there. So I'll do that this summer after the oats are off. But I want to show you this tile over here. So I tiled this farm over the last, I don't know, over the last how many years I've been putting tile in here. And it has, this farm is drastically changed. But we have a Hickenbottom here, and I'm not big on Hickenbottoms, but we outletted it into that waterway on that side of the driveway, and there's a culvert here. So we put in a Hickenbottom to catch the water coming across through the culvert, and it protects the waterway also, too. So because see, this tile will run, more than not, it seems like, during the growing season, because there's springs. This farm has springs. But yeah, things are greening up. We've had plenty of rain, but finally have some heat. So things are greening up. Okay, so here is on the corn ground here. Fall chisel plowed. The home farm here is continuous corn. For the most, it usually is continuous corn. There hasn't been any oats planted here since 2008. But I need more tile here. There is tile in this field, not enough. It needs more. So we are gonna add where this oats is. There's gonna be a bunch of tile put in here. We'll come up with a main in here, go up that way, and tie into it at an angle all through here. So yeah, looking forward to that. That'll be this summer. Yeah, so here is the oats on the corn. I love the farm down here. It just looks neat. So and there's a few soybeans planted out there. Since I was already putting oats in part of it, I just said, well, we'll put some beans on the other stuff there, and should be really good beans if we can get them, planted, because there hasn't been beans here in a long time. So anyway, yeah, but I apologize for being a day late. Maybe it'll be 2 days late, I don't know, but we will get that video up. I'm sorry when I can't do them all. This isn't a full-time job. I wish I could just do this kind of stuff more and farm, but there's a lot of responsibility in life. We still do drain tiling and should be getting more of that done. But anyway, I'm trying here, but pick up that new Heritage Iron issue. I think you'll like that. I enjoy writing those articles. I really enjoy writing. So anyways, well, you guys have a good night. I will try and get this one up, or the story put up yet, hopefully tomorrow.